Steady now, but I won't quit running. No, I'll never let go. All right. Good evening, and I hope everyone can hear us. Um, our topic and our guest tonight is one of our trackers from Louisiana. As you can see, we're in a different place. We're out in the field again. We're helping another area, but let me get this up just here. So, kind of bear with us with what we're doing because we just got in just a little bit to make this. We've got another tracker that we're going to be speaking with today. A lot of information about what's going on in their area, and to actually tell you how close everything is. So many people think about Bigfoot being, in the far northwest or Canada or in the mountains somewhere, but these creatures are at people's back doors. They're at the dumpsters, any daycare centers, places where people work, things like that. So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. We want you to be aware of your surroundings and everything we're going to be talking about tonight. Also, so we're going to start off with prayer. We're going to do our announcements, and then we'll talk about a few things, and then we'll get ready for our guests. So I'm going to ask Tracker E to open us with a prayer, and we can get started with that.
All right. Thank you, Father. We're honored that we have this platform to be able to talk to people and to be able to teach what we have learned and what you have revealed to us. We thank you for your protection. We thank you for binding the eyes and ears of the enemy and the mouths of the enemy, and just keep them away, Lord, so that we can spread information that is saving lives, because we know how much you love your people. We thank you for everyone that's here. We ask your blessings upon them and upon this broadcast. And we just love you. And we pray these things in Jesus' name. And we'll talk to you in a little while.
So also, I hope that you can hear us, Judy. Hopefully you can hear us real well. Waiting on a few other people. And we do also have another guest that's going to be on Wednesday. He's got a good story. Everybody knows him. He's been on here quite often. He's a good friend. He's kept up with us. And when we was in the field those 2 months, he was right there with us. He had concerns about us. We talked with him. Oh, great. Thank you, Judy. And so we was able to converse with him, and he told us a little bit more. And we want to share his story also, which we will do that Wednesday, and you don't want to miss that one either.
We have 3 Facebook pages: Oklahoma Bigfoot Predator Watch, Antlers and Surrounding Areas, and also the Choctaw Missing and Murdered Woman, WOMBMAN, and Son Center and Database, and also Lead Tracker E. If you look at the lead tracker page today, there's some pictures of the location that we are at that show some of the blinds that are right out by the propane tank, right, right off the back porch. And we discovered quite a few more today. So those are those 3 pages. What were the announcements?
Did you get the Oklahoma and the Chalk Thomas and
Mhm.
Martin?
Yes, I said all 3.
Okay. And also the DVD, the Bigfoot DVD. We do have the Cash App on. Oh, it's got lead track read on there for some reason. But in the description, I also put my Cash App in there. But here on the screen, it has lead tracker E's Cash App also. Mine is in the description. I thought I put it on here, but I think it's definitely going to be on the next one. I think I did this one before that.
They'll go to the same place.
Yeah, they'll go with either one of us. That is $101. That's up here on the screen, and that is the Bigfoot documentary, Oklahoma Bigfoot Predator Watch, Antlers and Surrounding Areas, and that's a documentary that is comprised of years of work, hundreds of videos. I think we have 178, 79 videos that we've been training people over and with. That's been compressed into that one DVD. It's got all those answers. There's a lot of people who ask certain questions during, these segments, and most times they're not on topic. We just tell them to get the DVD or go back through the videos because we've already covered that. We do always have some new people here, and if you have those questions, get the DVD. It'll put you above, any researcher, any other documentary. It's a one of a kind. It shows you, teaches you, and helps you through a lot of things. It shows you how to deter and about gifting and things like that. Mind Speak. We cover pretty much everything in there. And then you can advance with us. And we're actually thinking about making another one, but show this one more of the places that we've been and how we use those techniques from that DVD to not only secure our areas, but when we visit friends, we always it's kind of hard for us because once we see the woods, and the first thing we do is start looking for tracks, entry, exit points. It's just natural now. So a lot of our friends will tell you, we could be talking to them for about a second, and next thing you know, we're off in the woods going up, and they're like, "Where are you going?" But that documentary is available. Not many, but they are available. And Joe Blow, we do need to get a hold of you. If you come back on here, if you hear us on your way home on the radio or however you're listening to us, we got a DVD for you. Another person had purchased that for you because they know that you need it. And so we want to get that out to you as soon as possible. And Claudia, thank you for your support yesterday. Was it yesterday? Or day before? Day before. Thank you for that support. It really helped us a lot. It's something that we've been needing for a while, and everything looks good on that. So thank you very much for that. And we understand, and we're also going to be sending you another DVD for that donation, because we just want you to have an extra one to give to your mother, your sister, a skeptic, someone who doesn't know, or maybe just somebody you're concerned about who goes camping a lot. So get that DVD to them, share it with them, and you'll help them that way more than you'll know.
Mary Stoughton.
Mary Stoughton, yes, Mary. We need you to contact us as soon as possible, either through email. And in the description, it should have my email also. We need to talk to you about your encounters and everything that's happening right now at your home, at your front door, is the information that we have, and we'd like to help you through this. So Mary, give us a call as soon as you can, or even email us. There's many different ways to get a hold of us. You can even write us a letter if you want to. But we would like to get with you and go over a couple of things that you might have missed, or if you have that DVD, let us know. Um, Maybe you missed something in some of that because there's a lot of information in there, but we just want to help you through that.
Kelly Lynn, if you're out there, and SMA Mommy too, we want to shout out to y'all and check on you, see how you're doing.
Yes, and Cliff, if you're out there too, make sure we. It's just that if we don't see your names for a while, we like to check in on you and just to make sure that you know that we care what happens to you. We know that a lot of you are in areas that are occupied with Bigfoot or hybrids, and we know that you go camping. We know that you are outdoors people, or you live in certain areas. We understand that. We're the same way. But we do like to keep up with you and check in on you, um, because we don't want anything to happen to any of our friends. Um,
We don't want anything to happen to you, even if we don't like you. We don't want anything to happen to any
yeah.
of y'all.
And the only people that we wouldn't like are people who try to attack us or disrupt the channel or interfere with somebody else's training.
We still want you to be safe.
We still want you to be safe. We just, you know, if we could push all that to the side and just have you listen to what we're saying, listen for a week, listen for 2 weeks, and then make your own decision up. But don't just jump in and start trying to throw axes and knives, because you're going to miss us, but you're also going to miss all that information that we're giving out freely to you.
And what our guests have to say.
And what our guests, and it does interfere with our guests. It does disrespect every guest that comes on here who wants to share information. And but like we were saying again, this is a training channel for our trackers. All this information that we share is vital information for our trackers, so that when we're out in the field, like we're out in the field now, um, we don't like surprises. So we want all of our trackers to have all the information that we have, to know what we look for, what we listen for, the signs, the symbols, uh, the oddities, the abnormalities, and things like that. Those are things that we need our trackers to know. Um, the the guest tonight is also going to be talking about things that are going on in their areas. They've had multiple encounters, um, and we've been lucky enough to visit with them and bring our equipment out to them, just to do some thermals, night visions, tracking in that area, and teaching as quickly as we could, because as Tracker L and them, their family would uh, tell you that we got to spend about 3 weeks with them, and we still wasn't where we would like to be as far as finished in the area, but we also had obligations and emergencies that we had to take care of, and that's why we had to depart from that area. But it is a training channel for trackers. Uh, Everyone's welcome to listen in. It's not an open forum. It's not an open talk forum, and that's why when we see conversations going on in the chat, that's when and we had one about 3 or 4 nights ago where we just had to stop. We had to stop what we was doing. We had to interfere with our guest, just to try to get some people to not have another conversation in the chat while we're communicating with our guest, who was given vital information for those people if they would have listened. But we're gonna also look over the comments real fast, see who's all here, and then we will start. We want to do a little background first. We're going to talk about the person. They said they need just a little bit more time. So we're going to talk about everything that we know of how it came to be for them to become one of our trackers. Um, and for me, I mean, it's exciting when we get new trackers. I mean, because if any of them would tell you, you're not just somebody we just say, hey, you want to be a tracker. You know, you have to have experience. You have to know what you're doing. You have to know what to look for, and you have to have that DVD. You got to know what we know. So our tracker tonight will be on in just a little bit, but we'll go over the comments and then we'll start with the background.
Okay. Judy Wheeler. Hello, Judy. Can I see living? Hello. Looks and sounds great. Good. That sounds good. Mr. L. Hello. Hearing you.
Hey, Mr. L. Good to hear from you.
Can
Judy.
Can I see says trackers are like hound dogs. Take them to the woods and they're gone. Yeah. Very true.
Yes, Tennessee got the opportunity to be with us, and it wasn't long. We was gone. Uh, he took us. I remember one of the first days that we met. He we were just talking for a second, and then I walked off. So I'll be right back. And then Tracker E, she was with me, and next thing you know, we're over in the woods tying bells, you know, to alert us if things were coming in, and then Tennessee come over there, and he's like, "What are y'all doing?" You know, and next thing you know, we're off going up the mountain and cutting back across, and then that's where we found the 20-foot break that the tracker L's, they were taking us right to these spots that you got to see these spots and the graves and the mounds and everything. So it is true. Once it's hard for us to be normal, I guess you would say, you know, to not pay attention to things because we're in any new place. We're looking for crows, ravens, squirrels, wildlife, and just a multiple of things that all the trackers need to know. Um, and Judy says hi again. So
She's saying hi back. Yeah.
so tracker, if you would like, maybe you could kind of give us a background, and she needs a little time so we can be detailed on Tracker B that's coming up.
Tracker B is in Louisiana, and she. Oh man, I wish you would do the background.
But I mean, they'll hear the voice and everything.
Yeah. Is it okay to say who she was on past videos? She's been on here before.
Yeah, she can announce that if she wants to.
Okay. Just to catch you up real quickly, the whole family has been plagued by these Bigfoot. Even where she works at the Walmart in this town in Louisiana, there are Bigfoot that come to the dumpster, the organics dumpster at night, and she's made a big change there in that they were sending the clerks out by themselves at night to these dumpsters where the Bigfoot were howling and coming up to them, and she's finally gotten management to listen to her about having them go out there, either not go out there at all at night or to go out with two people, more than one person. And she's going to tell about some even more. They're getting even more bold. It's not just nighttime sightings now, it's daytime sightings as well. And at first, people were scoffing at her and at her family and saying that they were, the usual stuff, saying that they're drug addicts, they must be high, they must be lying, they just want attention. All that same kind of nonsense that is just used to bully people into shutting their mouths.
Well, that's the same thing they use with missing people also.
Mm-hmm.
They'll call them alcoholics or drug addicts or homeless, not caring about them. And these creatures are out there hunting, homeless people or missing people or even young people just go to clubs, Walmart.
Oh yeah, yeah, and that's one of the things that happened in that town. There was a young woman that, just to catch y'all up, if you're new to the channel, there was a young woman in that town that had gone into the Walmart. She purchased some things. She went back to her car, and just never left the Walmart. That for some reason she walked into the woods, and then they couldn't find her for several days. Bernice will, have more details of the story, but when they finally did find her, she was crawled so far back up into the thicket. The way this Walmart is, there's a swampy area back behind it, and just brush and thicket, and she was shoved so far back up in there that it took 3 hours to uh, extract her from those briars and those thickets. She was passed on. Her legs were all scratched up. She'd been bleeding, and they said that she looked as though she died in great horror. And there was no robbery. They found her stuff just scattered. A human being didn't do that to her. Her family knows that humans weren't the cause of this. She wasn't. They tried to say that it was she was meeting someone out there, trying to make it like it was something lurid. They tried to say that she was a drug addict. It's just piled on top of the horror that her family went through. They had to listen to these aspersions on her character as well, and it happens time and time again. And so anyway, this is all in the same area, and how many other people, like you were saying, homeless, and you know what? Even if it is someone that was a method or had addiction problems, they don't deserve to die like that. They still deserve safety, and they deserve warnings and the truth of what's out there. And they're especially vulnerable because they're going and hiding in the same places that the Bigfoot hide. They, under the bridges, in the dark areas, in the shadows, in the woods, anywhere that you can go for isolation, that's where they are, because they're looking for isolated people. And that doesn't make it okay. But in this case, that wasn't what happened with that young woman. She wasn't on anything. Excuse me, we've been out in the woods all day. What's the next part?
I just want to also take just a second. Pray
for the comments.
Pray we must.
Pray we must. Linda from Texas here, ready to learn. Hello, everyone. Hey, Linda.
Hey, that's Linda. We've been wanting Linda, and Linda would like to have you on one night too. We're thinking about having a not a church night, kind of thing, but more of the spiritual people who get in there and battle.
We would love to have Linda give an opening and closing prayers when she comes on too. You can feel the power when she's praying. You can feel the faith. I was like, I would listen. I would listen.
And
listening to her
I'm not going to say what she said the other night, because I would like for her to come on and say exactly what she said. But when she was talking about an entity in the house that she couldn't see, the words she used, that would make anybody in the room pay attention.
Sure would. Yeah.
And
powerful prayer warrior.
Yeah, her spirituality is really strong, and we really appreciate having just conversations over the phone with her. So Linda, how are you doing? And we're glad to see that you're here, and we can't wait to actually have you on for one of these nights.
And Mary, you're checking in. Good deal. If you would send us your address and just get a hold of us.
We got our address.
Oh yeah, we do.
But if you would like, Mary, we would love to have you on, to have you on an interview, and have you catch us up on what's happening in your place right now. We know you're having some experiences, and we'd like to help with that. And she also says
she has forgotten what is normal, and that's concerning.
Well, that's kind of like us too. We don't know what normal
Well,
is.
yeah, that's true. But in your case, you're
Yeah,
probably talking about your situation, and
yeah,
you'd probably love to have a nice normal circumstance. So we want to help you with that.
yeah. And you never know if you're not too far from us or something like that. You never know. We may show up one day and say, "Hey, how you doing?" Uh, we'll be out in the woods for a little bit, and we're going to take care of a couple things. Um, so I think we're all caught up with all this. Mary's here, Judy, everybody. Also, whenever our guest um, first, before we even, before they even got to know us and finally become one of our trackers, that they were noticing activity, howls, screeches, screams, whoops, things like that. They didn't have anyone to talk to, anyone to tell. Um,
And now this is at their home, besides at the job,
yeah.
like that whole area.
And, you go in and talking about um, Bigfoot and things like that to a person who's never heard about it or someone who gets only limited information, limited knowledge of everything. They won't have the ability to really understand you because you're talking about something they haven't been taught. A lot of things we talk about, it hasn't been taught, and that's why we do this. That's why we're teaching, so that you know things that normally and normal people don't know. So if it sounds um, like when we talk about Bigfoots having wings, hooved feet, disproportions, longer arms, fangs, just things like that. We have that information. We've seen these things. We've seen all the information we're sharing with you. Um, and we've got all of our trackers who are trying to get those photos for you. How many people wouldn't want to see a Bigfoot in a hoodie sitting on the front porch of somebody's home? We brought that to you. We showed it to you. Um, how many people wouldn't want to see a Bigfoot with wings or hooved feet? We have trackers right now working on that, trying to get those photos for you. Um, so when our tracker first noticed all these things, they had no one to talk to, nobody to call. And I think they did call the BFRO, which came out and did like a small thing. It wasn't really published. It was awful, whatever it was. We didn't even see. We seen like a little segment that they sent to us, not the BFRO, but our tracker sent to us. And it wasn't a good report as far as what I would or what we would report.
Useless.
Useless. Didn't have locations, multitude, didn't have photos, thermals, nothing. It was just a kind of a hearsay kind of thing. So we had another tracker in that same area, um, and we'll be talking with them also very soon. But the tracker tonight, before they became the tracker, they were pretty much normal people, like a lot of normal people are. Still with questions, still not fully understand, but had experiences, but they were kind of like put in the back. You know, I mean, until we started talking, then the mind started saying, "Oh yeah, we did see this when I was a kid or my grandmother
Mm-hmm.
and things like that." Stories were coming up, but our tracker didn't have any support really. So our other tracker got a hold of us, and we got a hold of the tracker that will be on tonight. And then they started sending us information. We started communicating. We sent them a DVD. Um, we actually went. We actually sent them two DVDs, and we went to their home because we was on another journey. But we said we got enough time to detour for just a little bit and go and visit with them and just see what we can do to help them. Uh,
And respect that this tracker be also for how well she paid attention to the DVD. She wasn't on her phone or talking or eating, or she was absorbing every single word, because it's packed really, really tight with information, and you could tell that she was clinging to that information, and she retained it too. We're very, very proud of her.
Yes, with that DVD, please shut everything off. Don't use your Wi-Fi. Watch that video and listen. Take notes if you got to. Watch it 2 or 3 times. There's so much information in there, so many answers, that if you don't do that, you're going to miss it. And like us, we'll watch that DVD, sometimes just to see what else is in there, and then we'll say, "Oh yeah, we forgot about that." I can't believe. I mean, not that we forgot to put it in there. We forgot that we did put it in there, which is bonus and extra information. Let's see.
Do you want to talk about Southern?
Yeah. And also, whenever our tracker had gotten a hold of us, and we got to visit with them, and they knew then that we're not just people on the internet. We're not people who are just on YouTube. This is what we do. We help people this way. We're not normal people. I guess that's what the whole kind of thing is. But when we have the opportunity, we will visit. We will, especially if we're in that area and we know that you're having problems, we will visit. We will give you the time that we have. And there are some times that we get extra time and to spend with friends, and teach more and help more and do more. But also our other, the tracker who's going to be on tonight, had also had visitors of their family who had another visitor, a boyfriend that came in. And so our tracker was telling them, don't go out in those woods, be in by, certain time, and you'll be okay. But the curiosity of a normal person, the curiosity of someone who don't know what these things are, who's never seen them, who doesn't know how vicious they are, who doesn't know that they will drink blood if they can.
Because they've been taught that by other YouTube channels and groups and TV programs.
Yeah. They were thinking they're Harry and the Hendersons, that they can get a picture and that would be it. But that's not what happened. The trauma, the PSD is what they call it. We're also trying to get this young man to come on so we can talk with him about that situation and everything that happened. Our tracker may be able to share some light more on that topic when they get here. Let's see, what time is it? Because she said
she was just running a little bit late.
It's running a little bit late, so we got about.
Go start answer.
Hey, go start answer. Good to
Claudia,
hear from you.
Howdy.
Claudia, if you didn't hear what we said about you, Claudia, please rewind just a little bit. But we did thank you for your support and all your help, because it was something needed. And we're taking care of that, and we're so happy to be able to take care of that finally.
Mr. L, remembering to say, hit the like button, please. Thank you for that, Mr. L. We forget to say that.
Yeah.
We appreciate you.
We've actually had more likes these last couple ones since we've been back than we have. So
we've had some really good guests.
Yes, and a lot more people watching. So we want to thank everybody for your time. But our next tracker, we're going to try to go ahead and give them a call.
She tells it very well.
Yeah, so we'd rather have the tracker tell you than us paraphrasing.
This is Tracker B, who's now known as the Bigfoot lady in her area. And she's working hard to teach and warn people around her. And her family is also.
You know, the funny thing is, I don't have her on. Do we have her number somewhere?
Besides here.
Yeah.
Tracker B, are you out there? She didn't have this number either.
No, because I said this will.
Sorry, you guys. We're on one borrowed phone. The StreamYard's is not up and running yet. We got to figure
my
this out.
phone's not getting signal in this area,
Yeah,
so we got to work
on that.
Let's see. I think we can open up another.
Just open up another one. Call on here.
We got to get her.
Okay, if we lose you, we'll come right back on, you guys. Can I do that? Let's find out. Y'all still there? Okay.
Hello?
Hey, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm good.
I'll get it more on you.
How are you guys?
Hey, give us 1 second, okay?
Okay, that's fine.
Flat Rock is here. He's saying hello, Miss
Flat Rock.
Beauty. That's good. Glad you guys are saying hello. And Claudia says thank you, but I'm the one who is thankful for all you do to help us.
Thank you.
We appreciate that, Claudia. And so we're going to welcome our guest tonight, Tracker B. She's going to give us some updates on some things that we need to know about in her area. And we got we do have a couple of questions that we wanted to also kind of ask you also, Tracker B. Okay, so we're with you now. Okay, so if you can, let's go ahead and
Can you hear me?
yeah, I'm just trying to set this up.
Oh,
So,
okay.
We're out in the field, so we don't have the normal little setup.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Oh, I'm good.
Good.
I'm good.
sound like you're just getting in, closing the door, and dropping things.
Oh, no.
Well, we caught people up a little bit, just to probably the last time that you called in.
What was that? I'm sorry.
Why don't we start off with just a kind of a couple of quick questions because we want to do like a catch up for the viewers.
Oh, sure.
Okay, so I want to kind of start off with when you first noticed the activity in your area.
Yes.
Who was you able to get a hold of, and how did we connect, really?
Okay. All right. The first time we all started talking was the time when my son Josh and my son Josh had an encounter with a long, hairy creature with legs that were all the way down to its knees, and he said that it chased him all the way almost to the house, up to maybe a street light. And it stopped, and it was growling at him from there. And he said he didn't know what to do. He was literally scared. And he said everybody's face, everybody's his whole family, it just went like a flash, like what's going to happen to me? Am I going to survive this? What about my child? What about my girlfriend? What about, my mom? And he said that it happened so quick, like it just went through everybody, like, oh my gosh. And then the first thing he thought of was, Mom, help me. And he said once he just stood there and didn't want to get into the light, he said he just started running, went to the next light. He kept doing that until he got home. And that happened a week later. My brother came down from New Mexico, Merv, and he told his uncle, this is what I saw that night. And, my brother's curious because my brother right after me was telling us his encounters up at the Trisky Mountains. And he really wanted to, see it. And he said, I watched all these movies and I wanted to see it myself and see if you guys see what you've seen. So they went back over there and they started, walking through, and it was getting dark. So I guess, where the sun's kind of going down. And he said that they were making all the whoop whoop calls and everything. And then all of a sudden, one stepped out in front of them, kind of just stayed in the tree line. And he said it peeked out. It was looking like that thing was wondering what, made that sound. So then they saw another one, a little one, and they started to, film it with their phone. And you can tell they were scared. And my son kept telling him, there's another one right there. And the closest one was a real big one. And that's what my son got afraid of. But my brother was just watching the little one coming out of the trees, not knowing there was a big one right next to my son's jaw. And he said that he started telling him, Merv, look, it's right here. It's right here. And then my brother kept saying, look, there's another one. There's another one. And that's when the filming stopped. And they came home and they told us. And I believed him because my son, the first time he was scared, like really scared. The second time we were with my brother, he was just so amazed what he had seen again. And the third time around, they're so curious, they went back over there to see where it came out from. And my son said there were two broken trees, like, I don't know. When you came, you seen it. It was like way up there. It's kind of like a landmark that they had. They went through there. They would walk, and he said that there was that was a trail through there. So they walked all the way about 100 yards, and he said that there was like a nest. The whole, grass and stuff were, down. And it looked like something slept there, like it's just trash, from bags and stuff were all over in there, and it's the smell of it. And I guess they were just looking at it and trying to see what had slept there. And there was trash, debris, fur, whatever, and was back there. And they started, just checking, talking so loud that whatever it was, heading, something was heading towards them. It was loud, breaking branches and tree limbs. And they got scared. They said, I guess my brother was like, oh, hell no. And he ran right by my son. And my son said he started running after him. They ran so far, and they looked back, and he said that they didn't see anything. They came back. And then my husband, was like, let's go contact Moneymaker. So we did, and he really believed us because he wanted more video of whatever we seen. If we would ever go back and if we see them, make sure it's really clear and stuff. So he kept in contact with my husband and I and my son. But my son did not want to go on camera, does not, want to get his picture taken, does not want to talk to anybody, because he was just like, they're going to laugh at us and all that. They're not going to believe us. I said, it's okay. I said, and then that was about it. And then I think I was talking to Tracker S first.
Oh, yeah.
And then he's the one that sent me your link. He said, watch these guys. These guys will help you. And that's how I got in contact with you.
Now, whenever we first started, we're thinking you're out in the woods area, you're isolated, your house is by itself, but can you let the viewers know how close you are to where the city or the town that you're at, how close you are?
Sure. One moment.
And thank you, Tracker S, for sending her our way.
Yeah, we know that you'll be checking in on this video, and we will be giving you a call also because we need some updates from you also. We'll give our tracker just a second. She's just getting home from work, and work is where a lot of things are happening too.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'm sorry. My brother called. The one I wanted you to talk to also.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just called me a little while ago, and I told him that I was actually talking to you right now. Wanted to know some more information. So what was that? I'm sorry.
Oh, we was trying to let the viewers know that when we first started talking with you, we thought you were out in like a wooded area, isolated. The house was, you had a long driveway, but whenever we visited, we found it a little different.
Yes, I live like close to 171, and it's like a small community. I live like close to Fisher, and I was so surprised, before my son had actually seen what he's seen. My husband and I were going home like about 1 o'clock in the morning, driving out of Mannytown, and my husband was like, "Did you just?" He goes, "Watch out!" And I'm like, I just automatically just turned the steering wheel to the left and went off the road. And I'm just like, I looked at him. He said, "Did you see that?" I said, "God," I said, was it a deer?" I said, "Did I almost hit?" No. He said, "Did you see the red eyes? It went back into the trees." I said, "What was it? What was it?" And he was like, "I don't know. It was tall and hairy with red eyes." And then I said, "Oh my gosh." I said, "There's a guy that works at Burger King that rides his bike all the way from Manny to Fisher at midnight. You think he's going to be okay? Shall we call the cops?" And he's like, "Yeah." So what are you going to tell the cops, Bernice? Are you going to tell them that you saw a hairy creature that's really tall and with red eyes? They're not going to believe us. They're going to think you're crazy. Mm-hmm. So I said, "You're right." So, but we looked out for that guy that travels home on his bike. We didn't see him that night. So we told him about what we seen, and if he needed a ride home about that time, we would pick him up and give him a ride home, because he lived like maybe a block away from us. Oh. Yes.
And so you're living like right inside the town or the city limits. I mean, you're right in there.
Yes.
Close neighbors, lots of pedestrians, lots of joggers running around with headphones on and just not paying attention, not aware at all that this is right there in their neighborhood.
Yes, it's crazy. I think they know, but they just don't want to say anything. When Southern went missing, that's when I reported. I told the sheriff. I think he's a sheriff, one of the officers, and I told him, I said, "I hope you don't think I'm crazy, but I said, this is what we seen." and I don't want Southern to get hurt by this thing if he's on that side of the, of the area. And he said he was just staring at me like, he didn't say you're crazy, he didn't roll his eyes. He just was just looking at me like, okay. But he did say, we're going to go ahead and search that area. And I guess all night they were looking for him.
Yeah, that was one of those nights that we're still, if we can get a chance, when we'd like to talk with him also about that. But that was a night for y'all too. I mean, you knew these Bigfoots and these creatures were in those woods, and now you've got one of your own missing.
Yes. And when I looked at the video, I mean, I already knew that it was a Bigfoot, especially the head shape. I used my iPhone to get a better, picture of it. And hold on, I'll be right back.
Okay. One of our guests from the other night remembers that our guest tonight is Navajo. He was asking, and yes, that's the same person. And she's got a lot of stories from the reservation. We probably won't have time to go into those tonight, but a lot of experiences back over the years when he was talking about her grandmother that they've had in their family in New Mexico also.
And the Navajo, the Dene, they have a special group called the Navajo Rangers. They have Bigfoot, a special group just for Bigfoot and hybrids. Everybody knows they're real. Everybody knows that they hunt people. Everybody knows that they will eat your livestock. They'll eat anything and everything if you give them that chance. And the night that she is talking about, or what we're talking about now, a young man named Southern, he came to visit, and he wears glasses, and they had told him about the Bigfoots and not to go into the woods, but as curiosity happened, he had a camera, I believe, or he just wanted to go see these things because they're all over the place. He wears glasses also. And one of the first things that happened to him was he lost his glasses, and it got dark out in the woods. And he,
can I call you back in about maybe 5 minutes?
Yeah, that'll be fine.
All right. Bye-bye.
Can you call back on this line?
And hopefully it should be this line anyway to call in. But the young man had lost his glasses, and without those glasses, he don't see. And so now it's getting dark. He's still wandering through the woods. He don't know where he's at. He don't know where he's never been in this area before. He's trying to find his way back, except now he's getting lost. It's getting darker. It's getting colder. There's sounds out in these woods that he knows. The whole family has warned him and told him there's Bigfoots out here. There's creatures out here. So now all this is going to start coming into play. He's getting surrounded. He can feel the tremors of the feet walking. He's got the smell. The whoops are happening. The coyotes, the chatter, this talking, the chatter is happening. This young man still has no idea where he's at. Completely dark. These creatures are coming in on him, seeing how close they can get to him. He can hear them all on both sides of him. So he backs up and he sits by a tree and he starts to pray. The only thing he could do, the only thing he had left. And he held on to those prayers till daylight. But there is a story that we'd like to talk with him about, because there are a lot of more details into that. That we don't wish this on anybody. And that's also when we talked about not having other conversations while we're talking with trackers, and the guests and the information, because it's all important. This young man also had to spend a little time in a mental institute, because everything he was saying, normal people think is crazy, and that he's got to be on something, or there's got to be some reason for this young man to be talking about monsters and things that are in those woods.
So he comes to visit, and while he's there visiting, he ends up running into these monsters and ending up with trouble with the law, and then trouble with the mental institution. Very, very heartbreaking, and he is getting better. But we're also going to try to have him on the show to fill in some of the blanks as much as he's comfortable with. And,
Yeah, because and like a lot of things that we talk about here, it is information that you need, because we don't want you going through the same things. All the people that we've talked about all have experiences. They've already went through this. You're getting the benefit of getting the experience, listening to the sounds, listening to the stories, without having to be or put yourself in that situation. And everyone will tell you it's a situation you don't want to be in. And if they could have changed it, they would have. And many of our friends have said that, and their friends just are not just trackers, but they are friends. Um, but the majority of them said, if I could have changed it, if there's any other way I could have avoided that, I sure would have. But
I think that's the phone. That's the borrowed phone that she said the ringer doesn't work on, so we'll have to keep an eye on that.
oh, okay.
Okay, go ahead.
We're also gonna talk with her whenever she gets back about how she was treated when she did a newspaper article to inform everyone around her in her area, her town, that there are Bigfoots and the creatures. Um, it was very awful the way the community had treated her. But she's a strong woman. Um, she had truth on her side, so she was able to weather the storm. But like we say, that storm's not for you. That's something that'll go by. Don't worry about that.
And now other people are coming to her behind the scenes and saying what they've seen and what they've heard, and because of her boldness and just freely talking about it and standing her ground, it's given other people more courage, and she's able to teach them what she knows.
Yeah, and that's good. That's and just like this channel here, when we were first starting, giving all this information out, and all the truth, all the hieroglyphs, all the information, all the proof, even with some of the blurs and things like that, we know that that shadow is not supposed to be by that tree or something like that. We got attacked.
Mm-hmm.
It came from everywhere, but we had truth, so we just hammered back. Like we know what we're talking about. And the other people would say, well, this could be this, could be this, could be that. Uh, to someone else, your opinions of what something might be and compared to what we know, or if we're staring at something, taking pictures of, we're not taking pictures just to take pictures, it's for a reason. There's something there. That shadow's not supposed to be there. That black dot on the ground's not supposed to be there. Um, those trees, that one tree is not supposed to be moving while all the rest of them are not moving. We look at different things than normal people do. Sometimes when people are having conversations or trying to have a conversation with us, if we're near the woods, we're going to be catching a little bit about what you're saying, but we're listening for birds, we're looking for squirrels, we're looking for wildlife, we're watching trees, we're listening for any sounds, we're even listening for the wind.
Watching
Shadows, blurs, all the things that a normal person would look for. But that young man did have a night that we don't wish on anybody. And hopefully we can get him on to discuss that. And if you are watching this, Southern, uh, whenever you want to talk, it's fine with us. We do have a lot of information we can help you with, tell you about the things that went on out there, and what was going on and what the intention was. We do know all that information. We can help you.
Junior.
Okay. Junior, you there?
Junior. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Hello?
Everybody's calling for you.
Nice to meet you, Junior.
Yeah.
So, Junior,
Yeah.
how's things
Yeah.
going? I'm sure you got something to say.
It's going pretty good, but it's getting real cold over here.
Yeah, we're trying to winterize ourselves. Actually, well, the place knows it. Well, ourselves too, I guess. I'm chubby.
Oh
So, what's been going on in your area?
yeah. Well, for the last couple of years, people have been seeing this creature, and a lot of the folks around here, like in these parts, it's the reservation, and they don't want to really come forward and talk about it. I mean, only amongst themselves to the relatives, but not to the outside people. Like in the town or anything like that.
Yeah. I was gonna say that reservation areas are a lot different than city life and things like that. So, because I was on reservations for a long time, and that people kind of keep to themselves, but they'll talk to with each other. But the outside world is kind of, you don't want to be scoffed at, you don't want to be laughed at, you don't want to be things like that. So it's better just to talk amongst people and family and friends. But also, this creature that you're talking about, is it the same creature everybody's seeing, or is it different creatures, or creatures that look the same but not the same one? Is it just one, or is it different sizes, different?
Well, let me tell you about this one. I mean, like what I seen, I mean, like with my own eyes, and this is what I seen. I used to go camping a lot, every weekend for like 2-3 days with my family and my brothers and stuff like that. Oh my God. And we would be the only people out there. I mean, I don't care if it's raining, cold, and about to snow, we'll be out there, and we would be right on top of the mountain, way up there deep. And I have my vehicle broke down a couple of times up there. So even though we still we like going camping and everything. And one time we're up there at the lake, and it was there's only 3 of us, and it was getting dark, and we decided to build a fire. And then one of my brothers decided no, let's just and just sit in the dark and talk. So that's what we did. And I went later on the night, and we didn't set up the tent because we kept moving from a different lake to another part of the lake, and we just, I just told him, why can't we just get the sleeping bags and put them in the back? So that's what we did, and we were laying there, I dozed off real quick. Next thing you know, I heard something, like moving through, where we were at, and we had, I think it was, a couple of cans and, canned food and stuff like that. They were all sitting right there on a small table, and I heard something, like dropping, pushing cans, and I thought it was like, like squirrels and stuff like that. But, no, I heard like a little, I don't know, like a little grunt or something, like how bear, would sound. And, I thought I was laying towards east, and I thought I was the only one that was up and heard it. And next thing you know, my brother, he kicks me right in the shin, and he, what's that? And I just told him, be quiet, I might be, because in them parts, they seen a grizzly up there, so. And I told him, I said, don't say anything, it might be, a grizzly or a bear or something, we don't want to scare, and, you never know what it would do. So we just laid there, and I kind of dozed off again. And the next thing you know, I guess whatever it was went on and where my brother was at, and I guess it started, grabbing his calves and kind of feeling around back there. And then next thing you know, like it reached all the way across to where I was at, and it did the same thing. That's when I woke up, like what the heck is this? And that's when I don't know, where I think my brother was really scared or something. Next thing you know, he kicked, he kicked his blanket up, and we heard something running towards west. I mean, this thing sounded like it was heavy and like, let's just say like a horse, but this is like only had 2 legs though, and it sounded real heavy. And then the next night, we stayed there again, and we're trying to look for tracks and stuff like that, but the grass was kind of like too high. So I think it was like a big hill. The sun was going down. It will be on the west, and the sun was going down, and the next thing you know, we seen some person standing up there, but it was dark, like really dark color. And my brother's the one that seen it again. He goes, "Look at that." And I was like, "It could be a person," but I said, "I don't know," because there's some log cabins way back there, way in the back, that was there for quite a while. And I told him, I said, "I don't know, they could be them people out there." But this thing had like kind of like wide shoulder, but narrow, like much narrower down to the leg. And then, the legs and the, everything, the stomach wasn't that big, but the chest part was kind of like really, wide, and it was tall too. So we just stayed there, and then towards the evening, like when it was getting dark, it got more darker, and then that's when he wanted to leave. He goes, "I don't know about this," and I said, "Let's just stay one more night." And he wanted to leave, so we just packed up everything, and it was dark, and we just left. So then we heard like rocks, banging on 2 rocks, because the rocks up there are like kind of like round. Maybe they're like maybe 8 inches wide. Maybe some of them are 10. And this thing, you can hear it like banging sounds like against each other. And we try to spotlight all the way across the lake, but we couldn't see nothing. But it kept making those sounds though, and it echoes all the way down to where we were at. And and then you hear like these big rocks thrown into the lake, and you can hear it like really loud. And my brother was saying that it could be fishes, and they said nope, fish. And it sounds different because it makes that big deep. Once it hits the water, makes that big, like deep splash inside. You know, to where it sounds like a rock. And I told him, I said, those are rocks. It's not a fish. Because a fish will, once it jumps up and then it makes that splash and then to go back underwater. And I told him, I said, I know how, you know, fish would sound. So we did that, and we heard a couple, you know, sounds like that, but we didn't hear no screams or anything, nothing like that. But then one time we went up there again, but this was like another lake that was like maybe, I say about maybe 10 miles from where we were at the first time. And we were over there. This time I took my wife and her sister, and we were just hiking up there, and we were going around the lake. You know, it was dark, and we were headed back, and I had a dog with me, so I had to go all the way around the lake to where, you know, like it was really dark. So I was headed back in front of the ladies, and these guys were like kind of like way in the back, and we heard a big like a scream. I mean, like a really loud scream to where, like, I mean, it was deep, like a deep scream, like to where a big person would, you know, only make that scream. And I heard it, and I turned around, and you know, it was dark, and I tried calling my wife, and all I heard was, you know, them running across the shallow water on that side, like maybe, I said, like about 500 feet from me. And, you know, when I told her, I said, "Are you guys okay?" And she goes, "Yeah, did you hear that?" All I hear is them yelling back, and, you know, they're running towards the vehicle. And I guess one of her sister got kind of left behind because she couldn't really run in the water. And she said that the thing went right up behind her, and something grabbed her, pulled her, I think it was her sweater or something, and pulled her back, and she fell back in the lake.
Come at 8 because there's one person, they close it early.
I hear Bernie.
And, that's when I had to go run back up there and get her, and she was like, she couldn't move. I mean, she was really scared. She was like really, I mean, like she just froze right there, and she couldn't even walk. And I had to pick her up and, you know, kind of like drag her and kind of look around, you know, at the same time thinking, you know, what happened there, you know, like, and then I had to take her back up the hill, back up to the vehicle, and I mean, she was scared. She just crawled in the back of the back seat, and she just like, you know, like she was really scared. And we just jumped in the vehicle and we just took off.
The area, is it? I know whenever we're grown up and our growing up and our grandparents, they always tell us stories. But have you ever been told stories about these creatures out there, or?
One time, a cousin of mine, well, that time people wasn't, I mean, there wasn't nobody talking about this. It wasn't even on TV. It wasn't even on like you know, like on social media. This was like back in the 80s, and a cousin of mine, they used to live, you know, where I experienced this thing, and they used to have a sheep camp up there. I guess when they were younger. And one time we're at this place called Washington Pass, and between that pass, you know, this thing is steep, almost like goes straight up the mountain. I mean, like nobody can. I mean, even if I tried, I can't even walk up there. And he was telling me that when they were headed back up to the sheep camp at night, going through that pass, he said that something ran across the road and turned around and looked at them. And then next thing you know, he said that he just like started walking, and he was taking like big steps up that hill. straight up, and he said he climbed it like nothing. He said he didn't even use his hand. He said he just like walked up there. And he goes, I think it was Bigfoot. He goes, and I said, Bigfoot. I said, what Bigfoot? I said, what's a Bigfoot? And then he goes, it's I guess he's the only one that knew about it. He goes, this is the one hairy creature that people were saying that they seen, I guess, down in California. He goes, and I said, I don't know. I said, I heard of it, but, you know, like, I never seen one, or I never seen a picture of it, but, you know. So, you know, he's the only one that told me about it. And then some other people after that, like back in the 90s, I think it was like 91 to 98, people started complaining to where they had sheep camps up there, like way on top of the mountain. People would, you know, go back up there for the summer and live up there all through the summer. And people were saying that this thing would come around and take a sheep or something, or, you know, they said it didn't eat it, it just killed it. And it would kill these things, and, you know, they'll hang them up on the fence or something. And, you know, they said it, you know, it comes around, and they seen footprints up there, but nobody didn't really take any pictures or anything like that. And, you know, we just heard stories like that. But one of the biggest one I seen, but that one I seen, I seen it maybe like, let's see, I say about 400 yards from me. It was it was in Washington Pass. So I was taking my brother to work in Navajo, and I cut through the pass up there, same place. And this was early in the morning when the sun was barely, you know, peeking out. And I went on top of the mountain. I was going through that pass, and there's a river that runs by the road. And we were going slow. I mean, like really slow. It was kind of like you have to watch for deers and other stuff right there. And we were going slow. And I was looking around, and I was looking down towards the river. And there it was, and I seen it. I mean, like I told my wife to stop, and she pulled the brakes real quick, and we reversed back, and it was gone. And this one was reddish, I say like a copper color. But how people say it's, you know, like the one they have pictures of in California, that guy, the one he said he's seen, that big black muscle one that they have pictures of.
Yeah.
It's the one I seen is not like that. I mean, this thing looked like it was hungry. I mean, like it starved for a while. Yeah. It was like skinny and lanky, and the hairs on the whole arms was long, but on the knee part, it was bald on both sides, and the chest part only had a little bit of hair, but the face was completely like covered, like all the way up, you know, the cheeks upwards, like close to the eye. And the skin was kind of like a grayish black color, like, you know, like how a sunburn is, like, you know, it's like that color. And I seen it, and it stood right there, like it hurt us, you know. Once my wife hit the brakes, it looked up at us, and it was looking right at us, and we kind of reversed back and tried to get a picture of it, but here it was gone. Yeah. I don't know where it went, because you know, right by that river, there's a bunch of trees where he can just boom slide in there. And I tried telling my wife, you know, just to park right there, and my brother to, you know, let's walk down there. So let's go get a picture of the track or something. Yeah. But they didn't want to go down there. Nobody didn't want to go down there. And the weird thing about it is, it started messing with my head. I don't know. I can't really explain it. It's like see, we live from the mountain. We live like maybe, I say like 3 hours away to where we're at, and I started hearing these noises outside the house there, and it seemed like it came around to where even the dogs were scared of, like it followed us or something. And it's weird, like I don't know, like I don't know how to describe this, but I never told nobody, not even my only told my wife just a little bit, but not a whole lot. And it started, I don't know if it's the eye contact that we made with it or something, but it started like messing with your head.
It made a connection with you in your mind?
Yeah, like like sometimes I'll see in my dreams to where like it came around, like it was stood right outside my door. And then this was weird though, because when we lived in that house, it was right behind my dad's house. And my dad called me up one time when we weren't home, and he goes, "You know what? The dogs were real barking, and I looked towards you guys' house where you guys were staying at." He goes, "I seen this one tall thing, and it was dark, and I could only see him in the dark, and it was as tall as the roof, and the roof was like close to 8 foot high." And he goes, "It was standing right there by your door." And that's when I told my wife, "I told you, even my dad told me that he seen something standing right there by the door." And I was all like, "Man, I don't know about this thing, like it kind of followed us around for a while there, like maybe a good three months or something." To me, it looked like that. It followed us all the way back down to the flats. I don't know if it's how would you say, like a spirit or something, but
How far did you live from the incident, from the contact?
like I say, it's like 3 miles. I mean, 2.5 hours away, maybe 3.
Okay, now if you went over the mountains, how far?
If I went over the mountain, I have to go all the way. See, where I was at was in Twin Lake. I lived in Twin Lakes area, and it goes all the way down Tallahatchie, different communities. So I go to Tallahatchie, North City, and then Sheep Springs. Then Sheep Springs Mountain that goes all the way into the up to Washington Pass, and then it's behind when I'm going back down the hill. So like that's like way on the other, almost on Arizona's side.
Mm-hmm. Well, what I was saying was that whenever we take a road, we've got curves and we go around mountains, but a Bigfoot will go straight up that mountain and watch, if you're going left, if you're going right. If you live basically on the other side of the mountain, it'll just come over to your house. It'll just wait for you.
Yep. I mean, like this was like there's 2 roads that go up there. One's the other side's a highway and it's paved. And then from where where I used to live at, you can there's a dirt road that goes straight up into the mountain to where that lake is at, and then goes all the way back on the other side to where this Washington Pass is at, and that's dirt road. So he could have easily came down from there. And then afterwards, people started complaining, hearing screams every morning, like this thing yelling.
Yeah, it followed you home.
And then this is the thing about it too. We moved out from there, and then we went to go visit my parents one time, and my wife went to go get some stuff out of the vehicle. This was like about 10 o'clock at night, and I was inside, and she runs back in. She goes, I had a motorcycle street bike parked to where we lived at, and I left it there. And then she goes, there's somebody really big and tall standing by in the back of the house looking at me. And my dad got his gun and we all went out. And then she goes, you know what? It's that thing that we seen down there. I don't want to say it in front of mom and dad, but it was Bigfoot, she goes. And she goes, it was tall. So, you know,
do y'all have kids?
It's around there, but, you know.
Do y'all have kids?
Yes.
Yeah, they followed you home, and they were getting comfortable with you.
And this and our dogs, we had 2 dogs, and they were pit bulls. And you know, like there's a dirt road, I say like a good walking distance that from where we live at to that road that goes down to the main highway, and people will always walk down that dirt road, and my pit bulls will run, and they're not scared of nothing. And one night we are all sleeping, and these 2 pit bulls, they were trying to crawl under the car, actually crying and scared. I mean, like literally, like, you know, crying and scratching their way under the vehicle, and they couldn't even climb under the vehicle. I don't know what was scaring them, or, you know.
Well, we know the Bigfoot.
So all of that time, you know, like I kind of just like kept it to myself, and I think the only person that I really told was my sister, and you know, my brother kind of knows about it, but he's like he's the type of person that won't say anything, you know, like he won't tell nobody, or if he sees something, he'll just keep it to himself. But me, I kind of like felt weird about this, and I was thinking, you know, is this thing following us around? So after that, we just moved into the town, you know, in town, and we just stayed all that time. We just lived here in town.
Is anybody having any more occurrences or stories about that same area?
Yes, not too long ago, there's a guy, I guess he was making woods, and he kind of, he said that he seen one that was sitting down, and it was in the newspaper. And as he took a picture to where, you know, this thing was sitting, all you could see is the leg, but from the waist up on that photograph, all you could see is a ball of light.
Mm.
Could you get a copy of that picture?
Oh, no, I just seen it in the papers, and I read about it, and you know, I was all like, man, and you know, like people are, you know, beginning to, you know, I mean, there's a lot of stories, and you know, like even now, like through the pandemic, there's a lot of people didn't go anywhere, and they all stayed home, and people would go up to the lake that live close to the lake, and you know, they tell stories about, you know, this thing and whatever. You know, there was a lady, and the daughter, I guess the lady worked in at the high school there, and I guess they got up early, and they were going through the same place where we were at 2 weeks later, where I seen that one standing by the river, and I didn't tell nobody. And 2 weeks later, there was a lady saying that there was one running beside her vehicle, and her daughter like seen it, and they got really scared, and they said it was reddish brown, real skinny, bony, and you know, like it was tall. The way I seen it, that lady described everything down to the T.
The night that these things touched you and was it your cousin or brother?
Oh, it's my brother.
Can you kind of give us more details of like did it squeeze your leg? Did it feel how long your leg was, or could you feel
It,
its
it kind
skin?
of like like it kind of like pushed us like like with the palm part, like it like it how you would push somebody. It kind of it didn't like um it didn't feel for nothing, like the fingers and stuff like that, but like it put like some of his arm weight on us, and it pushed us like like try to
Like get out of the way kind of thing? Like
yeah
yeah.
like trying to say, hey, like like what we humans do, like, but this thing was like kind of like moving us,
Would it be like
and
kind
then,
of like trying to wake you up?
I forgot about this. On the driver's side, there was a big handprint. I mean, like big, like I say, like 2 times bigger than mine. Like on the palms, and then on the fingers, like it was like way long.
Like compared to a dinner plate, how big?
I say a little bit over the dinner plate. I say about an inch, close to half an inch or an inch bigger, and it was longer too, like the fingers.
And that next day, I guess you said you was getting some firewood, and you seen a person up on the hill.
Yes.
Was that with the sun behind it? Was the sun going
Yes,
down?
the sun behind it. The sun behind it, because we usually, every time we go hunting, we'll get we'll take our binoculars. We go prepared, and like we look across the lake and stuff like that. And but like we try to look in the binoculars, but it kind of blind us. So that's the reason why we seen that that black silhouette there, and like it was way on top, a distance. And then right where that lake was, right across, there's like a bigger hill. It'll be on your, let's see, northeast from us. Will be on this side of the lake. And one time we went up there, and we seen a bear that was hanging like on the side of like that little cliff. There was like a little cliff there, and there was a bear hanging, like something killed it. And this thing was a grizzly. I'm telling you, like this bear was huge, and it hung off that cliff. I mean, that bear, I mean, like it didn't fall or anything. Looks like it had his neck broken or something.
Yeah.
And 2 other people seen it, and I guess they went and called the rangers, and they said it was a Canadian grizzly.
In
And
New
made its
Mexico?
way down here somehow, but that thing was dead though.
Wow.
Yeah, the Bigfoots always expect them with the sun. They use that sun, that glare.
Yeah.
So always expect them, and in the evening times, that's where they'll be. In the morning times, that's where they'll be. But if they attack, one of them's going to come from the sun, and the other one's going to come from the exact opposite. So just information if you ever get in that situation.
Yeah, that's where we seen it at. Like, I was thinking that, whoever this thing was or what it was using that sun, so we won't, really focus on it.
That's how they'll place their blinds too.
They're
And then we
surprised.
seen, I think somebody up at that same place, they said they seen like something sleeping up in a tree.
Yeah.
Like a big bird's nest or something. Somebody was telling me about that, but they said they seen something like that, and I was all like, a bird's nest. He goes, yeah. I mean, like they seen that, and they had pictures of that one too, but I never got a hold. I just seen it though.
Yeah, they'll sleep up in the trees, and it kind of looks like an eagle's nest sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, this thing was like wide. I don't know how, but it made a real good like a nest up there.
What was the proportion of the forearms compared to the upper arms, or how long did the front arms hang down?
I say like when you stand up straight, this thing's arms was like almost down to his knees, and the forearm part is longer. Like the shoulder part, like from the shoulder part to maybe like the elbow part is like a medium, like average, but from the forearm all the way down to the knees is longer. And that's where all the hair was at, like, but this wasn't completely hairy. It was like, like hair, like here and there, like on the arms,
Yeah, if you look at the, I guess the like a spider. A spider has a small appendage, then a longer appendage, and longer one, then it goes back smaller.
Yeah.
And also the apes will have that same kind of body feature, but it's more of the spider that's where they get that extra long appendage.
And it allows them to drop down on all
like
fours.
Like how I say it was kind of like skinny and lanky, but you can also see that it was like this thing wasn't bony. It was like it had muscles and stuff like that, but like I say, like some the hair was like patchy, and it wasn't completely covered like the one they seen in California, to where this thing was like hairy and from head to toe. But this thing, the one I seen, was like it was like there was patches missing.
Would you say maybe like how teenagers can be kind of gangly and not fully filled out yet?
Tall, skinny.
Like not quite grown into their whole.
Yes.
Like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd seen one, and I had him on a rifle scope, and to me, I thought it was a poacher at the first time, but his shins, it was like the hair was long, but it wasn't covering the whole thing. It's kind of like it was like long hair on top of a regular skin kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But we have seen patchy colors. We have seen the calico looking colors, like one side of the face will be white, or just the eye will be white. The other side of the face will be like copper. The other side will be black. So they have a lot of different configurations as far as color, calicos, multicolored, albino, white, copper, black.
Different numbers of toes, from 3 to 6 toes and fingers.
Oh man, yeah. The one I seen, it looked like it had a big beard, like like how a big beard would be, and the head was kind of like bigger, like and like the way he looked at us, and when I looked up, like the hair, like on his like around his face, they were all longer, like really long, even in the hair. And then on top was kind of like the hair was like here and there, it wasn't really fully like a person.
A lot of what we call the juveniles, they have equally proportioned bodies. I mean, of course, skinny and chubby, but as far as the legs to the chest to the head, is kind of like a regular person. But when they become adults, the lower legs stay the same height and the upper body grows. Could you tell if it was like a regular human looking body, or was it short-legged and big body?
It was tall. The legs was tall, like I say, like a bit like a NBA basketball player, something like that. Like tall and lengthy like that.
So that one was going to fill out and get much taller.
Yeah.
Well,
And,
you seen a small one.
it's crazy what I seen, like I never really told anybody about this and, like what we seen. And, like, every now and then we'll talk about it. Like, well, especially with my wife, I'll tell her, like, do you still remember that time, when we were up there? And she goes, yeah, like, I'm not going to forget it. And I say, like, like, I don't know. Sometimes she'll mention it to me, then I'll tell her, just leave it the way it is and don't talk about it. I don't want this thing to be messing with, my mind or anything,
Do you know what mind speak is? Have you heard of that?
Have you heard of mind speak?
You're kind of like, I think I'm losing signal or something.
Do you know what mind speak is? Have you heard of that with the Bigfoot?
Mind speak?
I've heard about it. This one lady was saying that well, this was just recently. They were saying that it kind of like got into her head too, and it was like this thing was letting this person know that it's real.
Does it say cash?
Here.
Okay.
Almost like a demon would talk to someone
Yeah.
in their mind.
I
Yes.
guess this person was saying that's what it did to her too.
They will connect with you, especially with the eye. That is a connection. And when they do that, they can come into your dreams. They can find you pretty much anywhere. It's like a honing beacon. But what we use is called the mind protection technique. And the way we use that is, and we also tell ourselves to tell our body what to do while we're in this state. But this state is to not think about the past, the present, or the future, and don't talk to yourself in your head. And that creates a barrier for you. So whatever they're trying to put into your head, it won't go in there as long as you use that technique.
And that's the thing, because ever since it kind of did that to me, I that's when I started getting anxiety.
Oh yeah, I mean, they'll be in your dreams. They'll be using that dream or that fear to feed off of your energy. They'll come in your dreams and they'll try to get all that energy from you, and they'll do it by they can even make it a sexual dream. They can make it like a hero dream. They can make it a panic dream or a war or a horror dream, just to get your energy up, just to feed on you.
Yeah, one time I dreamed that this thing was, like way back when there was nothing, no vehicles, nothing on Earth, like on Earth, and it was just nothing but swamp and trees, and this thing was walking, and it seemed like I was looking through his eyes, and every time I looked around, all I could see is dreams and like different places, and then this thing will be walking in the forest, and you'll see animals and stuff like that, like way back in the day, and it wasn't like nothing like today to where you have vehicles and everything. And it seemed like every time I looked around, it was dark, and there wasn't no daylight. And this it took me back like way, like a couple of centuries back into, to where these things used to, a bunch of them would be walking around. And man, that kind of like, it messed with me, like I said,
Yeah, you're doing awesome. Before you go to sleep, tell your body, do not dream. I do not want to dream. I will not dream. Pray. You can rebuke in the name of Jesus. And then all those things help. The mind protection technique. All those things help. And even you'll find, because you haven't talked about it very much, that that will also help. We've heard that, I think, 100% of the time.
Yeah, you have to talk about it.
100% of the time. It's like, that it's helped after people got it out and know that other people know what's going on. And
that's one thing too. You have to know you're not the only person that has went through this. And the more you share, other people will say, hey, yeah, okay, well, someone else is talking about it.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, like ever since then too,
Yes.
Could you repeat what you said after ever since then? It cut out. We're having trouble with the sound.
Yeah, we can barely hear you.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. There we
That's
go.
better.
We've seen everything up there, and we never went back up there. We never went fishing or camping that same place. We never even went up the mountain anymore.
What now? The young woman who was touched, how is she doing?
She lives right in the city now, but she never went back up there. I mean, he said that he was kind of like just go alone here and there in the dark, I guess, like even from like her mom's house to her house, and she never did that. And like she was just, I guess it was weird for her too, what she experienced, because she said that like something actually grabbing her, like kind of like throwing her back. It didn't throw her back, but it grabbed her as she was running, and that's when she flipped back. And she was thinking, what would do that? I mean, like, there was 1,000 things that we tried to come up with, but we couldn't get it. Like, what was that?
Right.
Yeah. Do you know if the young woman who was touched, do you know if she knew anything about the stories or anything in that area?
We kind of like she's like she lost a couple of her family, and she's kind of like lost touch with us, like like I said, she moved into the city, and she's kind of like keeping to herself nowadays.
Yeah, we found that a lot of people move from those areas once they find out that these things are in there. But that also leaves other people who don't know that they're there, who are living in that area, that we just really need people to talk more about it, so other people like you, so now other people know about these areas that they.
I mean, this place, people tried talking about it just recently to different shows too, and I don't know if you ever seen that one show on I think it was How to Hunt. That guy that I think he's in Canada or something.
Yeah.
Him. They tried. They did a couple of videos and they sent it to him, and he was still not gonna do nothing about it. But I guess he was saying that I can prove to people that I could do this and that, but he didn't say nothing about what these people seen out here, except for the things that they see in Canada.
Right. Oh, they're everywhere without exception. Every single state we've been in, and it's the same patterns. It's just with whatever trees are local, same things that they're doing. Exactly. And we have. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, is there any way that you may be able to get in touch with these people also to maybe send us some video and maybe we can interview them also?
I I can probably try, but like especially right now, people are like trying to stay away from each other. I guess COVID's rising again. Where like on Arizona side, on that side, and Arizona border is just like maybe less than an hour from me. And, people are still, like, kind of keep your distance, and they say, you can talk to me on the other side of the window if you would.
Right. Well,
Yeah, and
if your sister comes to see you for the holidays or anything, hopefully she can bring that DVD and share it with you so that you'll learn a lot from that. It talks about the mind protection technique and the signs to watch for, just different things. It's just full of information that will help you and help you to help other people, because they're right up in the urban areas now.
yes, and then this part where I was talking about, that whole community knows about it. And like even way back in the day, we seen like little ones, like little Bigfoots running around. And the older people, like the elderlies, they said that if you don't bother it, it's not gonna bother you. And I guess they just left it alone all that time. That's what I heard from one elderly, and that elderly is no longer alive. And she used to say that yeah, it came around, but it seemed like it just checked up on us and then it left again. Like we didn't bother it and didn't bother us. That's what she was saying. She goes, it seemed like it just checked up on the family and then it went away again. And then a couple of months it'll come back again.
Yeah, these things, they make rounds. Everybody is a place for food, so they'll go, and that's when you'll have missing people. You'll have a missing person in this county, and then next thing you know, you got a missing person in like the next county over, and then you'll have another missing person in your same county again, but it won't be for a couple of years.
Yeah.
It's like they make their rounds and take whoever they can take, and it's all about food for them, food and blood.
They will watch too and see if there's a big stink raised or a big search party to come out for someone. They don't always consume them right away. They'll have sentries that watch, and if too big of a deal is made, that's when the little kid will be recovered and say they were taken care of by a bear for a few days, that kind of thing. It's it's a balance game for them because they fear exposure, and if too many people are going to come out, it's just, is it worth it this time? No, let's let this one go, that kind of thing.
It's kind of like I guess it was like studying us, like how people would live and react, and like even dogs are like that.
Absolutely. All
they know
predators are observing
to go around us, and like how it's smart.
Yeah, we tell people that they have to change their routines, their habits, and schedules because these Bigfoots know what time you come home, what time you go to work, what time the kids get off the bus, where they get off at the bus, what time the lights go off, how many dogs are outside, if you got cats, sheep, everything.
If you're yelling at the dogs to shut up when they're trying to warn you, when you check your mail, things like that. The cars are ambush spots. Signal.
So, you guys have a video that you gave my sister, or?
Yes, we sure do. It's the DVD, the Bigfoot documentary, and it's got all the information and all the answers that I know you need. And that.
Do you guys tell them, or how do you guys do that? Or?
Yeah, we have on the video on the YouTube channel. It's through a Cash App. But your sister, and if you watch this video, we're on YouTube right now. So if you go to the Bigfoot expert Jerry Williams and Tracker E, you'll find our channel, and we have it in the description. Also on the heading or the front of the video that we're on, the information is there. Or you can give your sister the information, and she can give it to us, and we can get it out that way to you.
Oh, okay. Sounds good.
And we are super proud of your sister too for how she's educating her community around there.
Oh, yes.
And you about coming on and talking about all this and sharing this information.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
And I think we're going to try to make it out to see y'all, and also visit with your father. He said he wanted to talk to
you. He used to work for this road construction.
Oh, he's probably got some stories then.
One time, 5 o'clock in the morning, sometimes he'll get up at 4. But he was leaving like about, when it was still dark outside. And he'll start his work truck. And I guess he went out there, and he said he heard a big scream. I mean, a big scream to where he can hear it, like, close to a mile away. And, it sounded like it was just right outside the house, he said. And he ran back in. He was looking out the window.
A lot of people do the same thing.
Hey, on that one that you saw, did you notice anything about the teeth or if there were claws? Were you close enough for that?
The teeth?
Yes.
It kind of like had his mouth open, but it looked like it had like just like square, like big. That's all I could see. Like it had his mouth open, and it looked up at us, and like it was like, oh, like like how things, like when you see something, like you just stare at it and like
Yeah. But yeah, they do have claws and long fingernails, and was wondering if you got a glance of those.
Oh, the fingernails is like wasn't that long, but they weren't square too. Like they were like kind of like round, like it's like an old close to sharp, but it wasn't like really sharp.
Kind of like a dog's?
Kind of like a teardrop or a water drop.
Yeah, like a teardrop. And it was like a dark color.
Yeah, we've got pictures of those too.
Yeah, it was a dark color.
And we've seen some that look pure white and go down to almost needle point.
Yeah, we've seen some that look like talons, like razors, like just small, thin. Oh, it just looks so sharp. Just looking at them.
Yeah. This is what this one person was saying. He goes, there's all sorts of, all of them don't look the same.
No.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't understand that whenever they drop to all fours and when they're running on all fours, those front hands are just like feet then. They dig in, they grab, they help that momentum. A lot of people don't understand that those front hands, or what we would call hands, when they dropped all fours, that's just more feet, like a regular animal.
Yeah.
And that's why they need that extra long forearms when they're
and short legs.
It helps them to get, down to run on all fours for speed.
There's this one person that was telling me that this thing was sitting down like to where he had his whole leg like knees up and his butt all the way down to almost the ground, and he was sitting like that, and his back was like kind of up, and he stood up like that real fast, and he goes, I don't even know a person, that was sit that long like that.
Right.
I believe Bernice actually has a picture of one that we got from Night Vision, and it was sitting just like that with his hands hanging over his knees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I've got a question, and let me ask you, so what do you guys all think about that, the Patterson picture?
The what?
So, I was asking you a question about that Patterson picture. What do y'all think?
Oh, that was a real one. That was a real Bigfoot.
It was a decoy Bigfoot.
But it was a decoy, like she's saying.
If you look at that film, there are other Bigfoot in it, and do you understand what we mean by a decoy Bigfoot?
Yeah. That's what I seen in one of the pictures, and I think I seen the ones I seen was like maybe 1, 2, 3, 4. I see 4 of them in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and nobody ever
real
talks
video
about that.
And they were trying to pull these guys out, which what they did was they got off their horse and ran after it. That's what they wanted them to do, except they didn't go far enough.
Another thing they'll do that your sister
or something.
Do what? I couldn't hear you. We could barely hear you on that last part.
Oh yeah, I was saying that like to trap them in something or like something.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Your sister has seen how they will run little animals out across the road to get people to get out with a little coyote puppy when we were there. Each time we would pass that bridge, the little coyote puppy would come out, and it might be any kind of animal. It might be a deer, that lone deer on the highway, or the lone car on the highway, and a deer comes out at just that moment. Those are being herded and pushed out to slow people down or cause them to wreck, cause them to get out.
And they herd deer. They have their own herds, and they can also use those herds to stop traffic or to stop that one car by pushing all those deer out there or all those elk or gazelle out there, and that car stops. Even they'll push cows out there to stop that one person.
Man, yep, there's a lot to learn.
There is.
There is, and they use a lot of things, and they'll be laying down so low that you don't notice them. You're looking at that dog, you're looking at that herd, you're looking at that cow or something, and they're right there in the ditch, laying as low as they can, waiting for somebody to get out of that car.
Or right there on the other side of the light where the shadow starts, they'll lay right there. They'll figure out how they can get as close as they can get. And if you just look into the blackness long enough, it'll start to separate and you can see them if they're there.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, like I guess they're like good hunters and stuff.
Yeah, the whole day is about getting food.
Man.
The good news is you know what to look for. You've already been through it. You would not be shocked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're way ahead of the game.
I seen a couple, like I said, and then what we've seen and heard, and like we said, we used to always go camping and stuff like that, and we never thought that we would run into something like that, or hear things like that, and but after, like I said, we make eye contact with it, and then that's when things weird started to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot. I know a lot of times on the highways out in like Arizona, there's long stretches, and sometimes there's only one car on that highway. And like the Bigfoot, they'll wait for that one car to get isolated, and then they'll walk in front of it or or you'll cause another animal to be out there, or they'll push a deer out in front of you. They hit that one deer. But if they walk just across the highway, they want you to stop, get out, and take a picture or something like that. But the whole objective is to get you to stop and get out of that vehicle, get out of your safety.
And there's never just one. The
Never
others
just
are
one.
around.
Way out. I just recently I read about one. This happened. I think somewhere. This guy was coming from Cortez, and he was a truck driver, and he went through the reservation towards Kayenta, and I guess he was headed down to Flagstaff, and he said he kind of got sleepy and stuff like that, so he parked on the road on the reservation, and he got woken up to his whole truck shaking, going back and forth sideways. He said, so he looked around, turned on his lights and his trailer lights and everything, and he said there was nobody. He couldn't see nothing, and there was no vehicles driving by. So he got out, he got his spotlight and everything. Next thing you know, he said he heard something, like kind of like like a hoot or something, like coming from, way out there. And he said pretty soon it was coming back closer and closer. And next thing you know, he said that he heard this thing right in his ear. And, he said it was weird too. And,
They
and then
can be
going back through,
translucent.
I guess he made his haul towards the west, and then he was coming back through the same place. And right at that same place, he seen this, like you said, like this Bigfoot running across the road to where, like they wanted him to stop again or something.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And he was talking about that on Facebook too, and I seen that, I think it was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And he goes, I don't think people probably think that I made this up. And of course, some people made jokes about it, but the ones that knew what was really going on, they were talking to him seriously about going on that road. And that's the reason why people don't travel on that road at night, is the ones that already know,
Mhm.
Yeah. And I know your sister went through a little ridicule also whenever she came forward, and we love her for that, because that got us to you, and that got us to more information for everybody.
She stood her ground, and people are coming to her behind the scenes, telling her what they've seen, and they're brave enough to now because of her talking, and it will be the same with you as well. The ones that scoff are generally just too afraid to believe it. They don't want to believe it, or they have an agenda and they're trying to keep people from knowing. What is the reaction of the authorities, like game rangers or officers, tribal
Navajo Rangers?
How are they with reports? Do you know?
I guess they tried. There was a couple of them, but some of them were like, afraid, I guess, to try and go near it because they've been told not to, I guess, by the elderlies. Mm-hmm. And the ones that grew up in the city, like more like the city type, they're the ones that went in there and try to, look for this thing that people were complaining about.
The ones that didn't know better.
Yeah, the ones that didn't really, like know about this, and they some of them tracked it down to where, like it just vanished, for, like I said, for a couple of months, and they just backed off again, and and then people start talking about it like a couple of months again, saying that they see these things again, and it's coming back again, and then that's when I guess there was a lot of calls to the reservation police saying that there's this thing out here again, it came around again, and it's coming around to people's places, I guess, the ones that live close to the mountains there.
I think the Navajo Rangers, they also need to get a hold of our DVD somehow. Maybe one day you share it with them or something.
Yeah. There was one guy that I knew that he used to be a Navajo Ranger on there, but let me see if I can try and look for his number or something.
Yeah, that would be
try and get a hold of him. Then I'll give him that info.
Yeah, because it's that DVD's got so much information and what to look for, what their traps look like, what their smells are, where they hide, their techniques,
why they're doing what they're doing,
their DNA, where they come from,
what they want,
what their purpose is, everything in there.
Man, I want to look at that. I want to.
We do know that if you're trying to outrun them in a car, they can go 55 to 60 miles an hour for 15 miles.
At least, yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
So some places like in Oklahoma or in the mountainous regions, they can't just go that fast. So that's a little disconcerting. But if it's a wide open road and
that's why we say that they will just go up over that mountain, because we drive around the mountain. We thinking we're driving a long way, but to a Bigfoot just going over top of that mountain and watching you come around that corner, they just go down and wait for you there, or they'll just wait for you, just to go home.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what part of Oklahoma are you guys from? Or
around Broken Bow, the southeast part. Lots of Bigfoot activity over here.
Oh yeah, I got a friend of mine that lives down in Oklahoma City.
There's some there too.
I think he's a Sac Fox.
Yeah.
The tribe down there.
Yeah. They will tell you about their Bigfoot stories too. Sac and Fox, Cheyenne.
Yeah. Yeah, he was just a cousin of his seen one down there too, and he was talking about it too, but he looks like he didn't really. Well, he believes him, like one of his family members, he believes him, but to where, like, and I asked him, I said, do you believe it? He goes, I don't know, like it's, I'm kind of like stuck in the middle. He goes, wait until I see one, and I said, don't wish for it, but
yeah,
because
you're right.
I would, what I experienced, because I wouldn't wish that on anybody,
Yeah.
No.
And that's the thing too, with all of our callers, all of the trackers. I mean, some of our most experienced trackers, they'll say, I wish I didn't see that. That one was 20 foot. That one was 17. That one was 12. That one was,
Yeah. And, like I said, what we seen from that day, it changed us, and it started like, messing with us, started following us around. And this was like completely on the other side of the mountain, like I said, and it came all the way down to where we were at.
But that also made you more aware.
Yeah. So every time we go somewhere, like especially like through the mountains or the forest, and like when we're driving, even when we're driving by, like I try to look in there, and I think to myself, I bet you there's one looking at us right now.
Yeah, that's the way we go into whenever we're tracking or scouting. We go into it thinking they already know we're here. They knew when the car pulled up. They knew when someone slammed that door to get out. They knew when we put our gear on. So for us to track them and to locate them, we got to know that they're watching us anyway, but we have to start with the entry exit points, do our regular thing. But we're always aware. We're always looking over each other's shoulder. We're always keeping an eye on each other, and we're all experienced, but we're still the most cautious people out there.
Yeah. I mean, like, you guys should actually try, like, go where, all the sightings were at, here. And I bet you guys would, see or hear something out there, that I guarantee you will,
And we have to.
But right now, the roads are really rough up there now. You know, we had some rain and you know, a little bit of snow up there, but you know, probably the road crew usually clean up the roads in like springtime. You know.
And a lot of people drive slow at that time, so these things, they can follow you home easy.
So, has Bernice told you anything about how, if they do come around your area, to just keep it well lit? You can crisscross game cams to overlap each other, face towards your house, away from your house. They do not like the game cams. We use them as a deterrent, not to try to catch them to prove anything. We're not trying to prove anything to anyone. We're way past that. The evidence is out there, but we use them as weapons, basically, or as tools for keeping them away with the game cams.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. You know, like I had some of them game cams, and I had one facing, you know, like, you know, around the house. You know, like one would be facing towards the house, and another one would be facing towards the east, like on that side.
Good.
And you know, that's what I used to put up.
Good.
Now they're going to come at every dark area you give them.
Or big blind.
So also change your cams up daily.
Okay.
And they will come to your house. They will look in your windows. They'll see who's in there, what room everybody's in, where the kids are. So you also have to cover your windows at night, and you can open them back up during the day, whatever. But at nighttime when you're sleeping, they're coming through to look through those windows.
And that means even the little holes on the mini blinds, just say mini blinds and curtains or blackout curtains, or completely cover the windows. And they can also get under the houses.
And we even
Depending on your house.
experienced like these things throwing like, you know, silver dollar size rocks on top of the house. And every time we go out there, there's nothing. You know, it'll be way dark.
Well, that's what they're wanting you to do, is to come outside.
Yeah.
And one of them, was it almost hit Greg, Francine? That almost hit my son in the head. And, you know, he came back in. He goes, somebody's throwing rocks at me. And so we walked out there, and, you know, we just walked right up to where, you know, it gets dark, you know, from there on that way. So we just, you know, completely stopped to where we had light, but we never went into the dark. And then when we come, you know, go back inside again, they'll throw rocks on top of the house again. And we have nobody out there.
Yeah.
Or, you know, like maybe 2 or 3 miles away, people live until, you know, way out there. And we have nobody that's around that house.
Yeah. If you can help it, once you go in that house at night, you just don't come back out. Don't break your threshold, even when they're rattling the doorknob or throwing rocks or shaking things, or if they do any of that, don't break your threshold. Stay in that house.
Even like storms. If it's a big storm, stay in there. Don't go to a shelter. Don't go to a public thing, because once you leave, these creatures will say, well, they don't have any faith. They're not protected, so we're free to take them.
Oh, yeah, okay.
When you do lawn trimming, I don't know what your lawn is like, but they will use anything that you don't cut it. We cut things up to about 6 inches and below, because they will rearrange it incrementally. You'll go out and this branch is pulled up a little bit, and a day or two later, another one is tucked up under that to make it a little more full. And people have to burn or remove their lawn trimmings.
They'll use anything as a blind. Cars, porta
Junk,
potties,
trash.
dog houses.
Yeah.
All right, heads up.
Man, you're smart then, huh?
They're predators. They use anything they can.
Just like a robber would. Bushes too close to the house, you just want a clear line of sight, really. Or if it's something you can't move, to know its shape and size, so that you know one day that tree looks fat. Why has it got an extra bulge over here? How did it grow a foot over, in width? That kind of thing. Watch those kind of things.
Yeah. So what are you guys gonna do your next? When are you guys gonna go out again? And
We're actually out right now. We're at another place. We're doing some scouting and doing some. We may have to do some yard cleaning and cutting some trees down, knock some blinds out for some friends. And we're in Oklahoma in the mountains, so it's a lot of Bigfoot activity here. We're just helping some friends.
Oh, nice.
So we only came in for about a day or two. Now we're back out.
But we don't tell you these things to scare you. You're just to prepare you so that you can stay on top of the game. You're over the hump. You're over the worst part. They're realizing they're out there and that they can try to stalk you. But now you just know how to prevent it.
And don't let people say that you're paranoid or things like that. You're just protecting your families. All you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah. And it's like, and it's weird too. Like what you say, these things try to lure you out into, what to where, they're gonna try and take somebody or something,
Yeah.
And like the way they throw things and especially if a person, that they're there, especially like kids or something, and they'll be curious and hey, where's that thing coming from? And they'll try to exactly go where that thing is coming from.
Yes, and you don't want to yell names out.
Don't yell your child's name out.
Right, because they'll learn how to mimic voices, and they will trick you. And you'll hear somebody say, "I could have swore somebody said mom out there," but they're not out there, or it sounded like their friend, or it sounded like their kid.
And they'll always they'll also use small puppies or small animals for children or for people to pull over and say, I'm going to go help that puppy or that child run out to the woods saying, oh, a puppy.
Just more of the same kind of game of luring people out, whatever it takes. They're just creepy.
Like just one personal thing that they try to copy what when they yell something out, and it was almost exactly the same person's voice.
Yes, and they don't do just voices. You might come out every day and you'll hear it might sound like a goose. They'll have a certain sound for each member of the household, and you just listen for patterns. If every time you walk out the door you hear an owl that sounds just a little bit off, that's their code word for you, or this one's out here.
They can sound like a diesel going by. They can sound like a chainsaw, an airplane, a car horn. They can mimic all these sounds, and when we come out, we're hearing a chainsaw in the morning or a truck diesel sound, but there's no trucks there.
A UPS truck backing up on top of a mountain, just mechanical sounds, electronic sounds, voice mimicking, pet mimicking.
But always remember, and we say it in a kind of a phrase, the subject has a voice, the voice has a growl. And that means that the Bigfoot who learned how to mimic the voice of somebody calling for help or calling for their daddy or calling for their mom, that voice that they learned to mimic, the Bigfoot has the growl. The Bigfoot is the one mimicking. So that's a predator. That's a creature waiting.
Can I see living on, he's in the chat right now, but if you went to his channel, there's a recording of, it sounds like a little kid saying puppy and some excitement, but then there's a growl right after that, and it probably wouldn't hear it with the regular ears, but it caught it on that recording, and that's just like it's it's beastly inhale at the end of that mimic. Just part of them practicing the voices.
And that's
we're getting a lot of loud noises from your end. Yeah.
or maybe somebody's moving something around.
Sounds coming out.
Yeah, it's getting kind of hard. The YouTube channel is like the number 10, but it's spelled out TEN, then then SEE Living 1984.
Yeah.
And you'll hear those sounds and those voices and things that we help them with also.
Yes, we're at almost 2.5 hours in there.
But I'll watch that on your YouTube channel. You know, at that.
Good, good. Say hi in the comments when you do. Let us know you're there.
Okay, I'll let you guys know. I'll let my sister know, and then I can go from there.
Yeah, and about that DVD, give your sister the information, and she can contact or get the information from her for us, and we can work something out. Make sure that you get that DVD though.
Oh, yeah, I'll do that.
Thank you for speaking with us.
Yes.
Hey, and would like to
somebody that is willing to talk about this and that, I'll give them the information to try and contact my sister, and then she'll go from there again.
Okay, good.
Yeah, that would be great, and we can stay in contact too. And we want to stay in contact with you.
Out, or it might be a signal.
Yeah, ours is bad too here.
But it's been like 2.5 hours, so we probably better wrap it up anyhow. But you can contact us online or offline.
Yeah, we'll go through your sister and we'll get your contact, and we'll stay in contact with you.
Okay, that'll work. Thanks, it was good talking to you guys too.
Good talking to you.
Yeah, it was good talking to you, and thank you for all that information.
Yes.
But we're gonna stay up with you. We're gonna stay in contact with you.
I should be able my sister too, and he's the only one that I usually tell about these things.
Well, you can talk to us anytime.
Okay. Alrighty, I'll talk to you guys.
All right.
Okay, have a great night out there. Be safe. Be safe.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bernice, are you still here?
Yeah.
This connection's really bad.
Oh, yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, our connection is really bad. Would you be free Thursday?
Yes. Probably about 6. About the same time.
Wednesday and Thursday.
Huh?
Wednesday and Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that'll work for us. Well, unless tomorrow's okay.
Let's go for Thursday.
Okay, yeah, we'll keep it at Thursday. We want to talk more with you too, but wow, that was great talking with your brother about all that information.
Yes, he has a lot of he's seen many things. And he's like a medicine man.
Oh,
and,
good.
he travels, up to the mountains, or he spent time with my grandma there. And basically, he's the one that usually goes camping, like he said. Him and my other, my other brothers, with my cousins, those interesting guys. So they would know more about, where the creature was, pushing their legs and feet and stuff like that. And that's my brother Chase that the creature did that too. He said he jumped up and looked, and it ran into the trees and stuff like that. I don't know if I can get in touch with him. I haven't talked to him in a while, but if I do, I'll go ahead and have him be on Thursday with me. Is that okay?
Oh yeah, that would be great
Sure.
too.
Okay.
Yes.
We'll talk to you about that. And this connection's so bad, people probably are having a real hard time understanding it.
Yeah.
But we will get with
yes,
you between now and then, sis.
Awesome. Okay.
Okay, we will see you
Thank you,
Thursday.
Sam.
Yeah, thank you so much. You're a
You're
big help.
welcome.
You don't know how much, but you're a big help.
Yeah. We'll talk to you
No
later.
problem.
Okay, we'll message you later. Okay, we'll do that.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, and I hope our connection is kind of okay here.
It looks like they're being so good.
Hopefully that was just with the
Everybody was
phone.
listening.
Hopefully that was just with the phone.
Yeah.
And we do appreciate no one having a conversation rather than what we was trying to get people to understand and listen. These are ongoing activity areas. I'm sure that you have them. These things are everywhere. We found them everywhere. But we're going to have Tracker B back on Thursday. Tomorrow night, we're having our other good friend.
Did we say his name?
I don't know. Should we give?
We won't say his name yet. We'll let him say it tomorrow if he would like to.
And he's an experienced person too. He's got his stories.
He's a warrior.
He's a warrior. And if we can get some tracking time with him, and we'd actually like to ask him to, be a part of our trackers and keep us more updated on the areas. And
He's in a hot spot.
He's in a hot spot also.
In Texas.
In Texas too, and there's a lot of activity in Texas. But we're going to go ahead and close for tonight.
Any more messages?
I don't know.
That's it. Okay.
And so we don't have any comments tonight, which is great. I mean, I'm glad everybody was saying hi to each other. That's what we like, and we're really happy that everybody paid attention. We do apologize for the phone misconnections. That wasn't our fault. We're in the mountains. They're in the mountains. We're in the field, so that's probably why we had all those situations. But, is there anything else that you would?
No, we just like to thank you guys for being here, and we're going to close it in prayer, and we will be back tomorrow. Tomorrow night.
Yep, tomorrow night,
at the same time.
5:05 with another guest, and you want to hear this information tomorrow as well.
Father, thank you for this broadcast. Thank you for allowing us to do this. And we ask your hand of protection over all the people listening in and over all those who have had run-ins with these monsters, and that you will break any sort of connection that they've made with these people, and that you will bring a peace that passes all understanding to these people so that they can have the knowledge but not have the fear. In Jesus' name we pray.
Also, don't forget, dreams are real. Those worlds are real. You can die and you can fly in those dreams. You can be fed on. So tell yourself, say a prayer over yourself, for yourself. Pray for yourself to not have anything come and feed on you. Tell your body to not dream. And if you feel yourself, pull yourself out, wake up, go back to bed. Tell yourself, do not dream. You'll get the best rest you've ever had. Your body will relax. You'll feel a lot better too. But you will not be feeding any demons.
It might take some practice, but just keep at it. Same with the mind protection technique. Keep practicing. So thank you guys.
And we will see y'all tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, 5:05 p.m.
Go too far. I think something happened to the chat.
I always think it may have happened to Scott when I was talking. But again, everybody have a great night. We'll be back tomorrow night. We got a busy day too. I think you got to take care of. We're going to look at more scouting. That's it. All right, we'll see y'all tomorrow night. 5:05. No, Wednesday night. We got Wednesday night, 5:05 p.m. Tomorrow's Tuesday, we start. We'll see you Wednesday night, 5:05 p.m. Wednesday night,
Wednesday,
5:05.
not tomorrow. Wednesday.
Not tomorrow. Wednesday night. That was our fault. We'll see y'all tomorrow night. Have a good night.